Hello ladies, this is Brianna from MissRudders.com, and for this tutorial I cannot wait to show you exactly how I achieve this gorgeous look, from the color to the cut to the curls. So if you're ready to rock hairstyles like this, well, just keep watching. You will need 3 luxury bundles as well as 1 luxury body wave lace closure in the lengths of 16 inches. These are the materials you will need to bleach and color your hair. Start off with 1 scoop of the Quick Blue Lightning Bleach powder, and you need 1 scoop per bundle. Begin covering your powder with your 40 volume cream developer. With your coloring brush, you're going to use this to mix these ingredients together until you reach a smooth, creamy consistency. Now begin adding more developer because we want this consistency to resemble something like cake batter. So now we're gonna start bleaching our closure. Make sure to part thin sections of your closure so you can effectively bleach it. And as you can see, the ends of my hair is brown, and that's because I previously lightened it for a totally different look. But for this specific look, I'm showing you that you can bleach multiple times and your hair will still be very healthy. Now use your small brush to begin doing the feathering technique to break up that harsh line. You are going to begin bleaching your first bundle by forming a straight line as you bring your product all the way down to the ends. Then you're also going to do the feathering technique to break up that line of demarcation. For our second bundle, it's time for some highlights. Weave your comb in and out of your hair to separate the sections that you actually want to bleach from the rest of the hair. Now begin bleaching the bottom of your section with your small brush. This is going to allow for better control since you have thinner sections that you're actually working with. Now as you fully saturate the ends, you can then continue working your bleach mixture up the length of the hair. Make sure to save a little room at the top so you can do the feathering technique as well. Now close your foil to allow for the hair to continue processing. This is the dark blonde color that you should have reached with your hair, and this is how the box color look once it's mixed. Now we're going to begin recoloring the hair with our permanent box color. The reason why I want you to do that is because it's going to help cancel out the orange tones that were left behind when you bleached your hair, and it's also going to allow the blonde to be just a tad bit darker because we want a dark blonde hair color. Now as you reach the top, don't forget those roots. Make sure you do the feathering technique as well. Now this is how the closure looks, and we're not even done processing our color yet. As you can see, the color is already transforming. You are also going to color your first bundle of bleached hair. And you're also going to color your highlights. Make sure that you're picking up as much blonde highlights as possible because you don't want to leave any behind. If you happen to include some black strands of hair in there, that's okay. Just make sure that you got as much blonde as you need and do the feathering technique as well. Now that we've finished coloring our hair, look at how beautiful it looks with the curl pattern still intact. And this is our first bundle that we bleached, and as you can see, that feathering technique allows for such a smooth transition. And as you see here, this is our highlighted bundle. Now it's time to actually create our lace closure wig. Put your needle through the edge of your lace closure and pull it through. And then put the needle through the edge of your dome cap, and when you pull the needle, always make sure it's being pulled through the opening of your thread. So once again, I'm going to show you exactly how that looks as it's forming a knot. Always secure the very beginning of your stitching process with about 2 to 3 knots before you continue stitching the rest of the way. Make sure your knots are spaced at about 1 centimeter or so apart, and make sure you sew up about 1 inch or so on your lace closure before you begin moving to the other side. So now on this side, you're doing the same exact thing, and the reason why I want you to go back and forth with my technique is it's going to prevent the closure from being sewn in a shifted manner. Now at the very back, secure your last knot with 2 to 3 knots before you cut off your thread. To sew through your extensions, go through your weft at the beginning of your bundle, and then take your needle and go underneath your dome cap. Go underneath your weft and then come back out through the opening of your thread. Wrap the needle around the thread and then pull up to create a knot. Now I'm going to show you a second time in a slightly different way. Put the needle through the actual wig cap and under the weft, and then wrap the needle around twice. You're effectively doing the same thing with both knotting techniques, so just continue doing this process until you finish sewing down your hair extensions. Now, do you see how full one bundle looks? And this is the second bundle, which are the highlights. And now here is our third bundle, and we are so close to finish sewing this wig. Now at the very top, I saved something a little special for you. And what I saved for you is called the fold over method. This step is so helpful in preventing you from having to cut through your extensions. You sew at a slight curvature at the edge of your dome cap, and then you pull the extensions back in the opposite direction and continue stitching it down. So as you can see, this process is going to prevent you from cutting through your extensions, because if you do that, that can cause the possibility of your hair from shedding in those cut areas. And also, this allows you to have multiple uses with your extensions because you don't have a bunch of tiny pieces that you gotta work with. So keep doing the fold over method throughout the entire wig making process. Now remove this last bit of weft that didn't quite make it, and you're going to stitch the very last point of your bundle with 2 to 3 knots. This is very important in preventing your bundles from unraveling. Always do this at the beginning and end of your bundles, as well as the beginning and end of sewing down your lace closure. With the techniques that I've shown you, your wig is going to last for an extremely long time. And now, it's time to start removing the excess cap from underneath your lace closure. Make sure you're cutting as much cap as possible while also not cutting your actual knots, because if you do, you will cause your closure to become unraveled. Now begin removing the excess lace on your closure because we don't need it. And then go in a second time to cut closer to your hairline for a very natural appearance. Now ladies, have you seen this before? This is the technique known as the elastic band method. The elastic band needs to be 1/3 of the circumference of your head, and you want to sew the band on the halfway point of your wig. Also, make sure when you're sewing it down that the knots are extremely close together so that over time your band does not unravel. Now that we're done, check out how strong but flexible this technique is for your wig. And with this technique, your wig isn't going anywhere, honey. It will not blow away off your head whatsoever. Now, after I straightened out my hair, this is how beautiful the color looks. Miss Werder's hair extensions takes extremely well to color. And as you can see, the hair still looks very vibrant and healthy. Now it's time to actually create some layers in this bad boy, because that's the look we want to go for when we're creating our curls. Make sure that you do not cut the back of the wig because you're only going to create layers on the left and right side. So on this side here, you first want to create a faced frame trim. This will allow the hair to fall very naturally against the curvature of your face. So now include some new hair with your previous section, and make sure that you're cutting down at an angle while blending the two sections together. Now it's time to dig into these layers. So comb your hair out at a 45-degree angle away from the mannequin head while working with thin sections. Now when you cut your hair, make sure you're going down at a slight angle so you're creating very soft layers. Include new hair with the previous cut section, and then when all the cut pieces drop from your hand, that's where you're going to start to blend the rest of the length of the hair with the layers that you're creating. So when you're doing my technique, it's going to preserve most of the length, but it's going to create layers throughout the entire length of the hair. As you can see, creating these layers are so quick and easy to do, not only because of the technique, but mostly because the hair is so soft. Every time I cut this hair, it literally slides through the scissors like butter. This is how the layers should look once you finish on this side. Now I'm gonna move the hair just a little bit to show you that your layers are actually ending at different points, because that's the effect you want to create with this look. Do the same thing to the other side as well, but cut a lot higher so that you're creating bangs on that side of your wig. Now, this is the braid pattern that I like to wear when wearing my wigs. You can braid your hair however you like, just as long as the braids are going away from your part. Now it's time for some heat protectant. Use your heat protectant to apply it very generously to your leave out. For this particular look, we are going to leave out the edges of our hair, but please don't skip this step because it's going to protect the health of your hair. Now begin straightening small sections of your edges and make sure that the temperature is as high as you need it. You don't want to use excessive heat. Use the heat that's needed to get your straightest result. After putting your wig on, I'm going to show you this little tip you can do if you happen to be a lot lighter or darker than the color of the lace. Use the tiniest bit of makeup powder and just apply a very light application to the lace to make it match perfectly to your skin color. As you can see, ladies, this closure is already amazing. We didn't have to do any plucking, any bleaching, any tinting, any crazy stuff for it to look so good. Now, check out this hair. The color is absolutely gorgeous, and the hair in the back is black because we didn't bleach one bundle. Now, I've already curled most of my hair, but I left a couple of sections to show you how to do it. Now, remember that we created some layers in our hair? As you can see, we got some different lengths going on here, and that can be a problem when curling your hair, but I'm going to show you this trick to do. You want to separate the shorter and longer pieces from one another, and then you want to make sure that you're curling those pieces together. So as you can see, this is going to allow us to fully reach the ends of our hair, because if you curl short and long hair together, it's going to leave some straight pieces behind. After holding for a couple of seconds, you just release it. And now we're going to do the next section, and we're going to curl the hair exactly how we curled the first piece. So as you can see here, we were able to curl all the way to the ends without leaving behind any straight pieces. This is an amazing tip to do when you have layers in your hair. Now we're going to work on the next section, and it's all the same length, but make sure you bring all the hair to a certain point because we still have layers on this entire side. Now continue wrapping the hair around the barrel to create your curl. Now look at this, we got two different lengths going on, so I'm gonna curl the largest section first, and I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna curl the next section as well. Now as I'm getting ready for the next section, I'm noticing I left the long piece behind, and if you do that, make sure that you curl that piece before moving on. This is gonna make your look very seamless. Now it's time to finish curling the rest of our hair. I'm not sure if you noticed or not, but some of my curls are actually being curled underhand and overhand. If you curl your hair like this, it will prevent the curls from actually clumping together, because curls that clump together are curls that are actually curled in the same direction. So alternate the direction in which you're curling each section, so that way we can create this distinct look to our hairstyle. Now that we're done, check out how beautiful this looks. For further styling, use your wig brush to brush through your curls. And use your hands to help you in the process, so that way you're not creating any frizz. Now check this out, ladies. Look at how fluffy and beautiful the style is with no product on the hair whatsoever. Now it's time to use some hairspray, because we want to give some additional hold to our hair and volume. We want this hair to be as high as the heavens. So raise your sections where you want volume, and also just to hold the other curls in place, just keep them exactly where they're at and spray. Look at this hair. Oh my goodness, it is so pretty and beautiful. I can't wait to finish this off. So now you need to use your favorite edge control or holding product to tame the edges of your hairline. Now, as you notice, I'm also using my brush to help. And remember, to create this look, I literally only want you to put edge control on the edges of your edges. So don't bring it all the way through your roots, just at the very edge of your hairline. Now that we're done with our edges, I had to show you how amazing this closure looks. I had the camera person get in literally in my face, so that you can see that even if someone stood this close to you, no one would ever know you're wearing this Mrs. Rutter's closure. It is so beautiful. And voila, ladies, our finished hairstyle looks so bomb. This hair is so pretty. We were able to achieve such a soft look. If you want hairstyles like this, purchase your hair extensions from MissRutters.com.